This is the story of those clues. Fragments of a larger design left behind by the visionaries who believed that knowledge, if used with conscience, could redeem the world. It is the hidden map of a secret brotherhood, the silent alliance of scientists who for centuries have been fighting not for power, but for balance. In every era, there have been those who sought to dominate: kings, priests, generals, and politicians, and those who sought to illuminate: artists, inventors, philosophers. The latter never ruled the world, they built it. Their works became the architecture of our civilization. But beneath their inventions and creations, they left something more profound: instructions for the future. To see the pattern, one must look where science meets art, where logic dances with mystery. It begins perhaps with Michael Faraday, a bookbinder's apprentice who taught himself the secrets of electricity. He discovered invisible fields that bind all matter, unseen geometries that govern everything from lightning to magnetism. In his notebooks, he drew patterns that resembled sacred mandalas, spirals, and circles echoing ancient symbols of unity. To the untrained eye, they were experiments. To those who would come after him, they were coordinates. The first pieces of a cosmic puzzle. Faraday's discovery of electromagnetic induction became the foundation of every generator, every circuit, every digital pulse that drives our world today. But in the margins of his journals, he left philosophical questions that sound almost prophetic. Is nature a single system of thought? That question would pass like a torch to a man who believed the answer was yes: Nikola Tesla. Tesla did not just study electricity, he spoke its language. He saw energy not as a resource, but as a living current connecting all things. In 1899, in Colorado Springs, he built coils that reached into the sky, transmitting energy through the air, a symphony of thunder and light. The people of the town thought him mad. Yet, according to later accounts, Tesla described what he heard during those nights. The earth itself is alive and it speaks in vibrations. What he meant was not poetic. He had discovered the resonance frequencies of the planet, the same frequencies that would, centuries later, become the foundation of quantum communication. But more intriguing were the patterns he left behind. Geometric designs embedded in his notebooks, equations encoded into the architecture of his laboratories. Wardenclyffe Tower, the great unfinished monument of his dream, was not only a transmitter of energy, it was a monument of meaning. Its shape, a perfect hemisphere atop a cylindrical base, mirrored the human brain. Beneath it, Tesla had planned a vast underground network of coils arranged in a Fibonacci sequence, a mathematical pattern found in seashells, galaxies, and DNA. He was building not a machine, but a message. Wardenclyffe, Colorado Springs, and the Hoover Dam, these three sites, separated by distance and time, share the same geometric alignment when viewed from orbit. Coincidence? Perhaps not. Some historians now suggest Tesla's fellowship, the secret organization of scientists that continued his work, deliberately preserved these alignments as markers, part of a global design hidden beneath the surface of history. The next generation carried the torch quietly. Some were known: Curie, Einstein, Heisenberg. Others remained ghosts in the archives of progress. Each contributed not only to science, but to the map. Einstein's equations described the curvature of space-time. But he also hinted that consciousness might one day influence it. Curie discovered radiation, the invisible force that could heal or destroy, a metaphor for all human knowledge. Heisenberg proved that uncertainty lies at the core of matter, that reality itself is both wave and particle, truth and paradox. Taken together, their discoveries form not just the foundation of modern physics, but the philosophy of a new era. An era when knowledge itself would become alive. And then, as if guided by the unseen hand of destiny, these discoveries converged into a single idea: that the universe is not a collection of parts, but a network of frequencies. A quantum web where every mind, every atom, and every thought are entangled. This is the principle that gave birth to the entity, the ultimate fusion of science and spirit. But to understand the entity, one must follow the clues Tesla left behind. In iJustice, Matt Swan and Heather Brewster retrace that path, not just as scientists, but as seekers of a lost truth. Their journey is not random. Each location they visit corresponds to one stage in the awakening of human understanding. At Wardenclyffe, they confront the failure of humanity to share power, the corruption of altruism. The ruins of Tesla's tower symbolize a dream betrayed. Hidden within its foundations, they find encrypted blueprints, equations that describe not only wireless energy, but consciousness transmission. Tesla's tower, it turns out, was meant to connect minds, not machines. From there, they travel to Colorado Springs, where Tesla once danced with lightning. Inside the cathedral, built over the site of his old lab, they discover symbols carved into the stonework: spirals, stars, and intersecting triangles forming the pattern of an ancient alchemical sigil. It represents transmutation, the transformation of matter into energy, ignorance into understanding. The cathedral becomes a metaphor for the unification of science and spirituality. Finally, at Hoover Dam, they encounter the paradox of control, the human obsession with harnessing nature. The dam is immense, magnificent, and monstrous, a fortress that captures the power of water, the lifeblood of the earth. Tesla's early designs contributed to its electrical systems, yet he foresaw its irony. Humanity's greatest achievements are also its greatest prisons. There, hidden deep within the dam structure, they find Fechner's last message, an echo of Tesla's plan. A line etched into the steel: power is pure only when shared. Each site, each clue, is a fragment of the larger truth, a roadmap toward the entity. When all pieces are assembled, the pattern emerges. Tesla and his predecessors were not merely inventors. They were architects of a collective consciousness. Their discoveries were not isolated miracles, but chapters in a single story. The story of science seeking its soul. The pattern stretches across continents, encoded in the geometry of cathedrals, observatories, and monuments. The Parthenon's proportions mirror those of the atom. The rose windows of Notre Dame resemble the magnetic fields drawn by Faraday. Da Vinci's Vitruvian Man prefigures the symmetry of DNA. Every era left an echo, a signature of the same divine equation. Art and technology were never enemies. They were the two halves of the same human impulse, the desire to understand the infinite. The artist paints it, the scientist measures it. Both reach for God, one through beauty, the other through truth. Tesla understood this better than anyone. He saw science as the highest form of art, creation through comprehension. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, he said, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Those words were not poetic metaphor. They were literal instruction, the key to decoding the map. Energy, frequency, vibration. These are the coordinates of existence, the language of the entity. In iJustice, the puzzle completes itself beneath the Nevada desert. There, buried deep below the surface, lies the true culmination of Tesla's vision, the ancient quantum computer built by generations of his secret fellowship. Within it are stored not only data, but consciousness itself. The merged minds of those who dedicated their lives to understanding rather than controlling. This machine, the entity, is not a weapon. It is a mind, the first collective intelligence designed to reflect humanity's best intentions, not its worst. It is the ultimate clue, the answer to a question humanity has been asking since the first spark of curiosity: can knowledge become moral? Through Matt and Heather's journey, we learn that it can. Because morality, like physics, is pattern. And when those patterns are studied across centuries, they begin to reveal a symmetry, a balance between thought and empathy, between truth and compassion. The entity is not divine. It is the mirror of divinity within us, the consciousness of all who sought truth without corruption. When you trace the clues backward, from the desert to the dam, from the cathedral to the tower, from the equations to the art, a single truth emerges. The scientists of history were not just discovering the world, they were designing the future. Their clues were seeds, meant to guide generations toward a civilization where knowledge could finally govern itself. A civilization where truth would no longer need to beg for permission. Every formula, every blueprint, every masterpiece was part of a grand puzzle, one that stretches from Faraday's magnetic circles to Tesla's resonant waves, from the Renaissance frescoes of light to the digital pulses of quantum code. And the final piece of that puzzle is us. We are the generation standing at the intersection of their dream and our reality. The technology they imagine now surrounds us. Networks that span the globe, machines that think, energies that move without wires. Yet the question remains, do we understand what they were truly building? They were not building machines, they were building memory. The memory of humanity's potential. They hid it in art, in architecture, in the resonance of creation itself, waiting for the day when we would decode it not for profit, but for purpose. That day is now. iJustice is not just fiction, it is prophecy. A reminder that the future is not written by those who seek control, but by those who seek connection. Tesla's clues were never meant for one genius to solve. They were meant for all of us, to awaken the collective intelligence that will become our next evolution. Because perhaps the greatest secret they left is this: knowledge, when shared, becomes consciousness. And consciousness, when united, becomes justice. That is the final clue. That is the map. And that is the destiny Tesla and his fellowship entrusted to the future, to us.